Right.
What's up, guys? Logan here with the Apparition Group. I'm sitting here with Johnson today. We've been running around the Bethesda area near DC. He's up here getting his prosthetic arm. He's going through that program right now, and a lot of you guys have been wanting to hear him tell his story. This will be the first time he's told it on video. He had done the interview with Nick from Battles and Beers as well, and I'm just going to give it over to him to tell his story, introduce himself, and then there's a few questions that you guys had asked that I'll ask him at the end and allow him to answer. So, yeah, Johnson, you go ahead and just tell your story. You can start wherever you want to with it.
Yo, what's up, everyone? My name's Johnson. This right here is Nubby. Anyway, we've come. Anyway, we've all come a long way, but me and Nubby. But see, what should I start out on Ukraine?
I mean, how did the morning of that op go?
I was on that op in that village for about 3 days. Don't remember the name of the village. Terrible Ukrainian names when it comes down to villages. I only remember the cities because that's the easiest thing. But
it was on the outskirts of Bakhmut, correct?
Yeah, it was on the outskirts of Bakhmut. I remember we got there, rolling into the village around 10 that night. It was really foggy. I remember when we were coming through the fog, a rocket passed by us, hit the tank right beside us. I remember Oscar sitting there, being chill and flipping the fuck all that. Ha! They missed us. It just kept on rolling. After that, we bedded in for the night. Got up really early the next day, around 5 or 6 in the morning. Got the next day, went on we got about 3 kilometers away from the Russians, trying to do a recon mission. We got stuck in a minefield for about 30 minutes, clearing out a minefield. From there, we seen that there was a lot of Russian observers in the area. There was already rounds and
like some forward observers.
Yeah, there was a lot of already, and my first time seeing cluster bombs in that area as well.
Really? So they were dropping cluster munitions? Or?
Yeah, a lot of cluster bombs. I know one of the cluster rounds landed probably about 300 meters in front of us the second day. Like 300 meters in front of us. Pretty much that whole day we were just doing recon. We spent most of that during the day flying drones back and forth. We didn't drop any bombs that day. We didn't bring any munitions with us. We were just there solely for recon.
Did you guys find like a building to make a bit like a PBN kind of?
No, we were in a tree line. We were operating out of a tree line right beside the minefield that we just got done navigating our truck through. Our little Toyota. Got our truck through. We stayed there literally, and we were in that tree line for about 12 hours. Walking and rolling while Artie was literally hitting. So there was multiple fields in there. It was more like 4 million where we were in. Every tree line around us was getting hit, but our tree line.
So luck.
Yeah, literally luck. After that, we got out, navigated through the middle of the night, back through the minefield, back to our fob. After we got our fob, fell asleep. I remember we were all cracking, doing jokes, telling stories. And the very next day, early that morning, we were talking. Got up. I think it was like 9 that morning. We decided to sleep in a little bit. Got up at 9, went out, and about 3 hours later, I kind of find it kind of sketchy because there was another drone team that was using this area before we got there.
And they boogie out, and then
they boogied out, and then we moved in. In my mind, just like on my first mission in Ukraine, you never use the same spot more than twice. I think this other drone team has been there maybe 3 or 4 times. So I think another Russian drone team probably spotted us, or forward observers. We stayed there. We were probably there for less than 10 minutes before a Russian attack helo spotted us and started laying down rockets down the range on us, and that's when I got hit.
So when you got hit, like, where were you at? Did you you were crossing in between?
So it was like I call it like a little square. So there was a garage, a barn, house in the middle of that. How I looked at it was like one of those tornado shelters that you have in the U.S. Yeah. I was grabbing shit out of the truck from the garage, and I remember Ada told us that we should probably get down into the bunker since we could hear the helicopter, but we couldn't see it. So I was like, yeah. I told Oscar to go. I grabbed the shit. I grabbed it. I popped out behind the garage, and when I was running across between the gap between the garage and the barn, I looked over and across the field. I seen a Russian attack helicopter pop up over the tree line, already shooting rockets. By that time, I dropped everything but my rifle and started running for the basement shelter. And before I made it about 5 feet away from the door of the basement shelter before the first rocket hit right beside me.
Got it.
Yeah.
And it threw you.
Yeah, it threw me about 30 feet in the opposite direction.
That's insane. And you landed setting up.
Yeah, I landed like one of those Looney Tunes characters. I landed on my ass, looking down at my arm, you know.
And we've had the conversation. He's told me the story before over the phone. I've never heard him tell it in person, but the fact that he got through that far and then landed setting up, most people would probably just be out. It's just insane to me. And like I said, you were awake the entire time, even after the injury. He was awake all the way to the hospital. When did you go out? Like
after the second rocket when the first rocket came in and hit, and I sat up, I looked down, I see my arm was all ripped up, and I looked back up. The second rocket hit, and after that, I fell back. I couldn't breathe. I could feel blood coming out, but I didn't feel any pain, which surprised me a lot. And when I heard the rest of my team calling my name, that's when I blacked out.
But you were still.
But I was still awake. They told me that I was still awake, but mentally, I don't remember shit
out.
after that.
The adrenaline just soaring.
Yeah.
Very lucky. Dude, extremely lucky. Extremely lucky because he was just explaining to me earlier that the rockets had only hit probably 5 meters, so like maybe 20 feet, not even.
20, about 20, 30 feet.
So in what would be considered the kill zone of the rockets. I mean, just extremely lucky. He was showing me pictures of his lungs, and the inside of his body, his lungs are actually concussed from the force of the explosion.
Yeah. Let's see, can I find a picture of that?
Yeah, if you get the picture up, I'll show it up to the camera. It's insane because is it your right lung that is smaller, or is it the lung?
My right lung.
His right lung is like half the size right now of his other lung, and the doctor said that it will expand back out over time and that it's compressed due to the force of the explosion, which I didn't know that was even a thing, and just insane to me.
Yeah, there. See, can I find it real quick?
Yeah, you're good.
If they want to see any other pictures, I got plain pictures of my arm and everything else. I don't know how y'all's precious YouTube thinks about gore.
Yeah, YouTube ain't gonna like the gore, but that's what we have the website for.
Yeah, it is true. Fuck.
It's nice out today.
Yeah, it is pretty nice out today. I'm trying to find this fucking picture for you guys because I don't know what the fuck it is.
Take your time.
Oh, here it is.
I say some podcasts last like 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, so this ain't nothing.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll take it up to the camera. That's insane. Stand behind it. So right here's his left lung, and then his right lung on this side is only half the size of the left lung. And how did they say how long it would take for that to go back to normal, or is that just?
It could go back completely. It is going to grow. It is going to grow back some either way, but there is a chance that it won't grow back all the way.
So it might just stay like that.
Yeah, so it's a 50-50 chance.
So that'll like impact your cardio. Like,
yeah, it'll impact my cardio.
See, that would suck. I mean, it's the thing that really matters is that you're alive, but it's still shit. You lost an arm and your lungs. Half your lung.
It could cuss it. Nothing penetrated my lung, but it could cuss it enough to where liquid somehow would build up in my lung over time. So every day they would have to put a shot in my back and pull out liquid out of my lungs.
And that was while you were still in Ukraine.
Yeah, they did that for about 3 weeks.
And then with your with the injury, because I've never posted anything about it, I just put the pictures up of your kit, but how your AK and the magazines actually stopped the injury to your abdomen from being much worse.
Oh yes, so it went through my AK, bent my AK in half, went through 2 of my magazines, went and almost penetrated all the way through with my front flak, front plate carrier. Yeah.
That's insane.
I have a picture of it bending.
Was that room service?
Yeah. Well, I have a picture of it bending out the back. Don't worry about those people.
It's room service. I really hope they don't come in.
I didn't fly.
They're out there. So I'll just go ahead and let it be known. The rooms only come with this chair. Or no, I'm sorry, they came with this chair. We went down to the lobby of the Marriott, and I snagged that one. And we ran into the elevator and brought it up here because there's only one chair. So I don't know if they're knocking because they watched camera footage and saw us running with the chair or not. But hey, and then so that's the basis of the story. If you want to go into like what's happening now with it, like the treatment, because I'll be honest with you, I've gotten a lot of messages and I've read a lot of comments where people are saying like, the Ukrainian government's not going to take care of them. No one's going to take care of them. Like they're basically just saying like, they're going to throw you to the winds.
Well, correction, they are taking care of me. They're doing. If it wasn't because of them, I wouldn't be able to afford the prosthetic arm in the first place. They're getting me a robotic arm that's able to operate off of my nerve, so flex a muscle, the nerve sends signals to my arm, and I'm able to open, close my hand, rotate my hand 360 degrees, raise my elbow, open up fingers, and everything else. And that by itself, that arm by itself, they paid over $200K for that arm.
Like $250,000, completely covered. And I mean, they've been working with them really well, and that was, I mean, I was just wanted to make the point that they're taking care of the guys that have come over and have put in the work with them and then helped them, and then he got injured, and they've kept their word. So I just wanted to get that out there because, like I said, I've read a lot of comments and stuff where people are like, they're just going to throw you to the winds. And I cannot stand reading shit like that, man. I get too heated about comments online. That's why I need to just like stay off my phone more, but run an apparition group, staying in contact with so many good guys like Johnson, because we live 12 hours apart. I was just lucky enough to be able to come up to DC while he's getting his prosthetic to be able to see him, because otherwise it's a 12-hour drive or a 4 or 5-hour flight. So it's nice to come up here and see Johnson, spend some time with him on a day off. And, yeah, I guess now we can get into the few questions that they asked and then wrap it up. We don't want to extend the video too long, but so the first question that we received that was a big one because it's a big theme of my channel was like, how are you dealing with it mentally? How is your mental health? Like, obviously you're in damn better spirits than most guys are that go through an injury like this. And have you had any like dealings with PTSD? Like, I know when we walked outside of the Marriott earlier and a Black Hawk just rips over out of nowhere, and I'd assume that would kind of give you a feeling of anxiety maybe, or
I have my, in most parts, I think I do pretty good for myself. I have my ups and downs. Yes, helicopters still freak me out. It's not that it makes me, it's not like it makes me like, oh shit, fuck. It's more of a chill that goes down my spine. It's kind of just wrecks my nerves a little bit. Yeah,
that weird feeling.
So I'm still getting used to that. I'm sure that I'll get over eventually, hopefully. But other than that, I think I do pretty good for myself.
And then another one was like, how did the Ukrainians treat you in country? And like I've been asked the same question before, and I've really never honestly met a Ukrainian I didn't like, and that didn't treat us like we were guests. Even during the time of war, I was treated excellent as a guest in their country. I was never treated negatively that I can even recall or remember.
Yeah, so I've been to Ukraine twice before the war started. Love the Ukrainian people. Ukrainian people are very honest people, willing to do anything for you. Best way I can explain Ukraine is Ukraine's more like the deep south, not where it comes down to, well, you love your sister the way it's supposed to. But no, it's kind of like you have a neighbors take care of each other. Mm-hmm. And during the war while I was over there, I never had any problems out of Ukrainians. Ukrainians would really give their shirt. If they knew that you were there to help, they would really give you their last dollar, the shirt off their back, just to thank you that you were there fighting for their country.
And then I'd say the last question, because a lot of the questions were about counteroffensives. I'm not a military professional strategic analyst. I can't predict wars. I can't predict the way things are going to go. And a lot of those questions were about that, and I don't really want to answer or comment on that because I can't really answer on that. All we can do is wait and see how that's going to go. But one of them from a Ukrainian was like, what were your best moments in Ukraine? Like, what were some like happy moments or just like some good times that weren't directly related to the war, or could be? It might be the best times.
Well, there's funny moments during combat, and also funny moments not during combat. I do remember one of the funny ones during, while we were on the front. Bird knows that we had a mutual friend called Terp. Anyway, we used to scare him, saying skadoosh, skadoosh, skadoosh to mimic the artillery rounds coming in. Anyway, there was one day, me and him were watching this building. We were on the second floor, and we ain't seen nothing in 3 days. Everything was pretty quiet, and Terp was like, you know, this might be one of the days I would like to see one of those skadooshes. You know, I'm really bored. I want to see something blow up. It wasn't even maybe 5 or 10 seconds after he said that, the building right beside us got blown up, and we both ducked
flattened, right?
Yeah, flattened to the ground. We were both on the floor, and Terry was like, "God, I'm so sorry. I'll never say skadoosh again." And I couldn't help but laugh while they were still bombing everything.
He'll giggle when he sees this, dude.
Oh God. Then outside there was a lot of good moments outside. You know, when you had a chance off time, you know, drinking with your buddies and everything else. You know, it's always funny when you get a bunch of grown men drunk as fuck. There's always goofy stuff going on. So I won't go into details of all the stuff that happened, but I just know for 2 days straight when we had downtime, it was a wild fucking 2 days where we didn't sleep.
The fighter jets out there, the country house.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you doing the interview, man. Like I said, you hadn't talked about it on video, so I didn't know how comfortable you'd be with it. You said you were. Like I said, I didn't want to push you into doing anything, and this is new to me too. So I appreciate it, man. I appreciate all you guys watching, and if you have any more questions, feel free to comment them. Johnson will see them. Like I said, he's going to be tagged in this. He's tagged in the most recent post on Instagram. You can follow him there. Please, if you're a troll, don't follow him. I know you guys will anyway. We've both received our share of DMs.
If you are a troll, I will read your text message. I just might not respond.
Well, guys, I appreciate it, and like I said, man, thank you. It means a lot to me.
Anytime.